So Subtle Infinity at the end of his latest video talks about offense versus defense, and he, he says, people go to Christ as a defensive move and whatever, and it's like, actually no, people come to Christ when they come to truth. So that's a very arrogant and very myopic view of coming to Christ. I'm talking about people who really come to Christ. They really become honest and virtuous, sexually pure, testify, and really come to Christ. And I thought, you think about Subtle Infinity and ODD and Eric Dubay. They're very cowardly. They're just cowardly people in the sense that being atheist is so easy. That's just like going along with the stream of humanity, like, oh, I'm an atheist. Oh man, I'm so smart though. I'm so intellectual. Oh, look at me. I can do videos for an hour or 2 hours, whatever. It's like, let's be honest here about being an atheist. It's easy. It doesn't take any effort. There's no rules. Even in your personal life, if you're an atheist, it's so easy. You can be a liar. You can be sexually immoral. It's hard in the sense that you're under the power of Satan. You don't have any spiritual protection, and you're not going to overcome the world. You can't overcome the world. Now, should you be defensive about overcoming the world? Yeah, but that means forgiving your enemies. That's not easy, Subtle Infinity, what a weird channel, and he's just promoting the same stuff that the mainstream media promotes. Subtle Infinity promotes the same stuff that mainstream media promotes. Racism, atheism, it's like he just talks and talks. I'm gonna start, listening to more of his stuff, and then I'll critique it. But what an arrogant fool. It's like he's talking about how, people are just defensive. And it's like, if you come to Christ, that's after you've lived a life of being defensive. After living defensive your whole life and being defensive, it's like you finally come to Christ, you finally come to the truth. And I wonder why Subtle Infinity is being so defensive, all of these atheistic YouTube channels that are supposedly flat earth believers. It's really interesting because think about this. They all believe that the earth is flat, but they don't believe in Jesus. So it's like, are they small-minded? Because here's what I don't get. To me, the flat earth proves that Jesus created the earth. It proves that the Bible is true. So it's like connected, right? It's kind of like saying, oh, dude, I found out what water's made out of. There's hydrogen in water. Wow. I love hydrogen. Oxygen. Yeah, whatever. It's like they're so stupid, or what's the word? I don't know if the word is stupid. They're so... I don't know what to say about all these YouTubers who are flat earth YouTubers. It's like their jobs. Like, I'm serious. Think about the YouTubers where it's like their job, meaning like they just are always making videos. It just seems like it would take up all their lives. And then they don't come unto God. They don't promote the Bible. They don't believe in the Bible. It's like, are you that dumb? Are you that low intellectually? Do you have no spiritual intelligence that you can connect with God spiritually and say, oh man, this is so glorious? The flat earth should be a spiritual event. Because it's like, oh, NASA's been lying to us because they want to hide God. They're not going to go through all this trouble to... This is what's so funny about Eric Dubay and ODD and D. Murphy and these atheistic scumbags. It's like, oh, the earth is flat, but yeah, the Bible's a piece of garbage. It's like, oh, it's just such a facepalm because these pieces of garbage, it's like the Patricia Steer, it's like, oh, yeah, the flat earth, the flat earth, it's just a joke. Oh, it's like, no, this is serious. It's salvational. Now, they don't believe in the devil, but for Christians, for people like us who believe in the devil, we understand the big picture. We understand, oh, okay. They've been trying to hide the shape of the earth, and they're bringing in occult philosophies. They're bringing in dark spiritual principles and doctrines, spiritual wickedness, because to corrupt the spirits of mankind, to hide God. Because if you know the shape of the earth, if you know the true shape, then it matches with the Bible. So, even if not everybody will believe, it's like it would have made more people make that connection, and more people would have believed, and it would have benefited their lives. So it's pretty crazy that we know this now. Here's the deal. Now that we know the flat earth, we're under condemnation if we deny God. That's okay. That's the word maybe I'm thinking of. That maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Is these flat earthers, these channels that deny God, they're under condemnation. Because yeah, there's some truths you don't need to accept. There's no condemnation. It's like, oh well, I don't accept that. Milk is good for me, or I don't accept that healthy food is good for me, or that I should be nice. It's like, there's certain truths that there's no condemnation, but it's like the flat earth, once you really have done your research and the earth is flat, if you go around making videos denying God, it's like, well, you're just like damning yourself. It's like blasphemy, and that's fine. I mean, all these people can be forgiven. Jesus says that blasphemers will be forgiven. So I'm saying they're damned, they're condemned in a sense, but I'm not like judging them to hell or anything. I'm just saying they're damning themselves, and they're damning? They're damning their audience. And here's what I'm saying. Here's the amazing thing. The YouTubers that are flat earth YouTubers that are saying God doesn't exist, Jesus didn't create this earth, nothing's changed. They're saying the same thing that NASA's been saying. They're saying the same thing that Copernicus has been saying. It's such a mind-blowing thing to think about. And it proves even more. Satan is everywhere. Brigham Young had this saying. He had this quote. He said, "In these days, whatever evil men can imagine will happen, will come true. Whatever torture can happen will happen. Whatever poison, whatever lie, wherever there can be a lie, there will be a lie." And so it's like, oh, we got the flat earth. Well, this is going to be pure. I remember, like the first year or whatever, and we're thinking, oh, this is cool. There will be tons of videos from people, and then we'll talk about God, and it proves the Bible, and it's like, look at it now. It's like you have all these satanic people like Dubé and Murphy. They're just totally following Lucifer and totally being wicked. And it's like, yeah, the wicked rule this world. The wicked are on YouTube. I'm sure these people are hired by the elites or whatever. I'm sure they get money. They get paid for it. And some of them get paid to be dumb. And some of them get paid to seem cool. Some of them have YouTube channels to seem intellectual, whatever. But it's like none of them are testifying of God. None of them. I'm talking about the shill channels, So I'm trying to think of like the list would be like ODD, Eric Dubé, Globebusters. This is such a general channel. It's like there's so Satan reigns this world, and he's doing a good job. Even and this, for Christians, this is a testimony. This is God showing us how wicked people will be. It's almost like the spirit of Judah, or Judas. It's almost like the spirit of Judas with like Eric Dubay and these flat earth channels, because they know that this is God's planet. I mean, you could know before. I mean, I thought before the flat earth, I thought this was God's planet. But it's like, now you know the flat earth, and they're still denying Christ. You know what I mean? It's like, these are the type of people that, like, you wonder, like, if God just appeared to them, they would still deny him. They still wouldn't follow him. They still wouldn't change their lives to conform to what he would teach. And there's people like that. There's people like Eric Dubay in this earth. There's people like ODD and Subtle Infinity. No matter how many angels could appear to them, no matter if if Jesus came into their room, it's like they wouldn't care. And the Book of Mormon talks about that. There, at the very beginning of the Book of Mormon, there's two guys where an angel appears to them, and they don't change. Now, for us who love God, we in our minds can't comprehend that, because we're like, well, what the heck? But you know what? We gotta have compassion on everybody. If people don't come to the realization that the earth is flat, if they don't believe us, that's fine. People are victims. Our whole society is just a society of victims. The older generation, they've been victimized their whole life. The younger generation, they're screwed because of people like Dubay and allegedly Dave and Mark Sargent. He's so evil. So I called Mark Sargent when he was first doing his videos, and I was just like calling him as a friend. I was like excited, I'm like, thanks for your videos, whatever. And he was like, I'm like, isn't this cool? It's so cool if we could just get this truth out. And he was like, no, I don't know. It's like, what'll happen to all the religions if everybody, if it proves the biblical cosmology or whatever, and then what about the Hindus and the Muslims? It's like, it was weird. Like, he was trying to appear smart or something, and I'm like, he was literally saying that it would be bad. That's what he was inferring. It would be bad if everybody knew that the earth was flat. We were covered by a glass dome. And it would be bad if everybody learned that Jesus created the earth and he was God. That Christianity, the Christian doctrine, was true. That all other gods are not the only true gods. And I'm like, there's a lot worse things going on in this world. There's so many lies that people are suffering from. It's like, okay, yeah, people would learn the truth about the flat earth. I mean, it would get rid of NASA and vaccines and false governments. It would just get rid of all the false wars and everything. It would be, I mean, just think about it. Think about if everybody learned that NASA was fake. It would shut down NASA. It would make everybody go to the Bible, and it would do those three things. It would shut down the governments. Because everybody would be like, okay, well, all the governments have been lying to us. So that's why I'm saying, like, these people that have these YouTube channels, they're trying to hide God. They're telling you Jesus didn't create this earth. They're telling you don't see Jesus in the flesh. They're weird. It's so weird, because it's like they're telling you don't see Jesus in this. And it's like, okay, Judas or whoever, like, okay, Pilate, it's like, follow Pilate, listen to Pilate, or it could be like the Jewish leadership, and it's like, but it's just weird. It's so weird. It's so weird to see Satan in action through other people.